Yeah, my workbench is just coming away from the wall here. I have to get it back. Yeah, this is turning out to be a challenge. So it's pretty early in the morning here, the sun's just coming up, and I think I'm going to make some coffee. So I think today we'll go for the espresso dark roast from Starbucks. These are beans, so I have to grind them. Oh, do they smell good. I haven't got the luxury of an expensive coffee grinder, so this is the best we got. While making my coffee, I was blissfully unaware how my day was about to go.
Told your friend you're not okay, and tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way. And guess you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until I look away. But I've known you too long, it hurts to watch your blue eyes fade to gray as you fade away.
Good morning everyone. So today we're actually going to do a tire change, or two tire changes on my DRZ 400 Supermoto. I've got a couple of new Continentals that I want to put on it. It's pretty cold here in Minnesota today. We've got a wind chill of about 40 degrees and the temperature is about 48 degrees, so it's becoming a little bit winter-like. Okay, so this could be a bit of a long video. I think what I'll do is I'll do the front first. The reason I'm changing this tire is not because it's worn out, far from it, but it's actually cracked. It's age cracked badly, as you can see. That's pretty bad, and I don't know why it's so bad as that. This has got about 5,000 miles on the mileometer. But as you can see, there's tons of tread on it, and it's a smooth tread. It's in nice condition, except that tire is just not. I don't feel confident that that's going to last too long. As you can see, look at this one here, pretty deep as that one there is. This is a Dunlop, and I think I've got a Duro on the rear. This is probably the second or the third tire I had on the back, maybe the second. Because it's got 5,000 miles on the bike, but it's still usable, totally usable. You can see I don't ride it very hard because it hasn't been scuffed on the sides here. I never trust these tires, especially when they're old. They get very hard, and when they get hard they lose a bit of their grip. So anyway, that's the plan, to change that out. So yeah, we've got 4 10mm bolts to undo. Let's go for the small ones. They shouldn't be very tight. That's the problem. I'm working on multiple vehicles here. There it is. So okay. So I get my 10mm for here. And then we've got, so all we got to do is just loosen those. They don't have to come out, of course. And then we'll do these two over here. Okay, so I really hate doing this, but this is what I've got. I'm afraid it's what I'm going to have to use. I don't like using tools, adjustable tools at all. Last resort. But this is a bit of a last resort because I'm not the right one here. But I can't get the actual wheel out without taking the caliper off. And the reason is because it's such a big disc here, or rotor, it won't clear, the caliper won't clear the wheel. Very easy, a couple of 12mm bolts. It's only a 2-second job to take it off. But just another step that I'd forgotten. So there we go. Now I can see what's going on. Now I can pull the axle out. And we should be able to get the wheel out easy. But there it is, easy peasy. Because it's such a large disc, the caliper is out against the wheel, and you couldn't get it pass the wheel, so that's why I was having problems. Okay, so that's the easy bit. Now to the fun part. I don't have the luxury of a tire changing machine, unfortunately, so I've got to do it all by hand. And the problem with when you're doing motorcycle alloy wheel is damaging that wheel. So I've got to be really careful that I don't mark the wheel at all. Like I say, I don't really like using tire levers, but I have little choice here. Do here. I don't think this is going to go. But it's very, 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 very tight on there. I can feel it. There's no give in the tire. It would be so nice to have the proper equipment to do all this. So, as you can probably see, I didn't get the tire off. I had to have a real think about this again. The lever action that I was doing actually worked, sort of worked. I'll show you how I did it. I just had this piece of timber here, and then I put a couple of screws in this piece of timber, one here and one here. So they stopped it sliding under the bench, and I just did this, and you know what, it sort of worked, but the problem was that it was moving the bench. So to try and stabilize the bench, I actually put a 5-gallon drum of petrol on at the top with all my nuts and bolts, all my nuts, bolts, washers, whatever, which is pretty heavy, and I put a trailer wheel, other things, just try and make the bench a little bit heavier so it had a bit more leverage on the tire. Well, guess what? It didn't work. When I lifted the bench, all my nuts and bolts and everything went everywhere, so I had to clean it all up. So that was a total disaster. And the tire was still on the wheel, so I actually didn't really gain anything at all. So that was the problem there. So I had a rethink and went in and had some lunch, and I feel a little bit better now. I'll figure it out somehow. I'll let you know how I get on. Okay, since the last that you saw of me trying to get this tire off, I spent an hour and a half screwing the bench to the wall on both ends and in the middle, and I screwed it to another bench over here because it just wouldn't work with the bench keep lifting up all the time. Now it's fixed to the wall, I can be a little bit more brutal with it perhaps. So what else? Of course I had to re-tidy all this here, which you wouldn't have seen, but all that had to come out. And yeah, now I'm sort of ready to take the tire off. Let's see how well that goes. Okay, now it's on to phase 2, try and get the tire off. I've actually put the new tire in the house to try and warm it up a little bit, see if it'll help in aiding in putting it on. So these rims, you know, I don't want to damage the rims at all with tire levers, so I did get these and I've used them on cars, but I've never used them on the motorcycle. I'm not really sure how these are going to work, but they go on here, and the idea is that they'll protect the rim from the levers. Now, we'll see how well that works in a second when I can get them on. This one isn't totally down yet. There we go. Okay, let's try that. So these just go on and supposedly protect the rim from. They must go on this way. Actually, I don't even know. I should know, shouldn't I? There you go. That's how they go on. So, and now I've just got these here small levers. I got big levers as well, but hopefully I won't need those. I'll just use the small ones. I think it's going to come off pretty easy. I don't think there's going to be much of an issue here. Okay, so of course the first thing we've got to do is make sure that the tire is down in the well of the wheel and not up on the rim here. Otherwise you won't get anywhere. Okay, that seems to be protecting the wheel a little bit. That tire is very tight, I can tell you that much. Let's see if we can get the second one in. Yeah, those tire protectors, wheel protectors are very good. I'm glad I got 3 levers here. That's going to be a job to get that one in, I think. You know, like I say, I've been doing this for so many years, and why I never got a tire machine, I just do not know. I guess they were expensive and I really hadn't got the money to do that. So I always made do with tire levers, and actually I used to use old milk cartons on these rims, plastic milk cartons, and they work pretty good. But I think these are going to work better because they're thicker plastic, which is nice. Ah, dear. As you can see, they're still tight. If I could get up that end, I think I'll come down this end. Oh dear, that is a tight tyre. This is a bit of a nightmare, this tyre, actually. From beginning to end, it's been a nightmare. Hope the new one that goes on is a little bit easier to I think the later wheels, where they put the spokes on the outside of the wheel rather than in the center like this one, you can use tubeless tires. But obviously you can't on this one. Thinking about it, you can't. But there it is. Oh, okay, well, sort of that makes it a little bit easier. Blowing it up and whatever. Because that must be an original tube as well. Looks like it. Okay, so now, hopefully, I can use this lever and stick this in. I'm always so careful of these rims, especially when they're black like this. Okay, hopefully that's not going to slip. Of course, I haven't got my hammer here. If there's any way I could just prise it off. Maybe not. I'm going to try and walk over here without it slipping to get my mallet. There we go. I guess it's okay. Might be able to just do it by putting it on the tire. Yeah, he came off pretty easy, that one. So there it is. The hardest part of this job is going to be breaking that bead. And I don't see any damage on the rim anywhere. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. Okay, so there's our tire, which probably would have been fine with the cracks in it, but I do intend to sell this motorcycle in the spring, so I didn't want to obviously sell it with bad tires on it, or tires that I didn't feel were safe, even though they probably were. Okay, so I'm going to go and get the new tire now and put that one on. That should be very easy. Okay, so I got it done. I didn't show you all the gory details, but yeah. So I got the tire on and I put the tube in, and then I blew it up, and I immediately realized there was a problem. So I managed to pinch the tube, putting it in. And I have put so many tubes in tires, and I'm always very aware of pinching tubes. And I still pinched the tube. So after blowing it up, I had to take the tire off again, or at least half of the tire, to get the tube out. And I repaired the pinch, which was 2 holes in the tube, 2 splits, which is very obvious it was a pinch. And I repaired that and put it back together, and it's okay. And I put the wheel on the motorbike. I didn't film it because I was pretty stressed by having to take the tire off again. Yeah, that actually was a pain in the... Tell you a little bit about how I started. My dad was a mechanic. He'd been a mechanic pretty much all his life, and I sort of went down the same road as he did, starting off in 1975 when I got an apprenticeship in a local garage, which was Austin Morris Garage back then. And I did that for 5 years, a 5-year apprenticeship. And then I actually went on my own. And I bought a van, a Morris Marina 1300, was used for moving newspapers around. So it was in very good condition inside. So I got the van in 1980, and I went out to people's houses to repair their cars. And I did that for 6 years. I did have a garage workshop as well, where I had a pit. And then at my mum and dad's, they had a garage with a pit also. I sort of moved between the 2 garages so that I had somewhere to work. And it was much easier working from a garage than it was working a mobile, because you worked out in all sorts of weathers and you never had all the tools you wanted. So it was inevitable I was going to move into a garage at some stage. Mum and Dad taken us to the RAC Rally in 1965 or 66, I think it was, where it actually came down the Porlock Toll Road. And that fired my interest in motorsport, of course. Not racing, just rallying. I just love rallying. After a few years of driving a Mini 1275 GT on road rallies, in 1980 I bought a stage rally car, which was an RS 1600 Ford Escort. It was all prepped out for stage rallying, so I didn't have to do anything to it other than just add a few things, my personal things that I needed to add to it. First stage rally that I did, I went off on the second corner and smacked up the front of the car. So that was it. I wasn't going to do any more rallying. That was it. I am not going to destroy my cars. So that only lasted a few months until I repaired the car. And then I entered more events. And in the end, in 82, 83, and 84, they were my busiest years of rallying, where I did multiple events. And then I decided to sell the RS 1600 and I bought a Vauxhall Chevette HS 2300, which was again all prepped out. And I never had as much success in that one as I did the Ford. I've always been interested in the Royal Air Force and aircraft, and my mum and dad used to take us to air shows around the country, or around the southwest of England mainly. And I tried to join the Royal Auxiliary Air Force. I was too far away from a base, so I couldn't do it. So I decided I was going to join full time. And that's what I did. And I joined the Air Force in 1986, in May of 86. I gave up the garage. Not totally. We still had it running. My dad was running it a little bit. But I was going to be out of the scene for a while. So then I got posted to an RAF airfield, only sort of 30 miles away from home. So I used to be able to go home and work on cars and that at the weekends, and repairing them, painting them, and modifying them. And then when I came out the Air Force, I did go to the Middle East for 3.5 to 4 years, I think just shy of 4 years. And then I came to the United States then, where I worked at an airfield working on antique aircraft from the 20s and the 30s. And then the work was drying up there. So I got back into cars again on old British sports cars from the 60s and 70s. And I did that for many years. And then I painted fire trucks for Rosenbauer, America. And now I'm retired. I gave up everything, and now I just do this type of work, my work. So there you go. There's a sort of background of my life there. But back to the work, I guess. Okay, so here we are on day 2. Today I'm doing the rear tire of a DRZ here. This tire feels really hard as well, so I'm sure I'm going to have as much fun on this one as I did the front yesterday. But we'll get cracking, we'll get it jacked up and see how we get on. $140 70 17, $140 70 17. Yep. Okay, so that looks good. Now let me get the camera on here so you can see the extent of this cracking. So do you see the cracks all down here? So let's see how we get on with this today. See if we can get this tire off easier than that one yesterday. I'm just hoping it's going to be easy. But I don't know. Okay, it would appear that this tire is nice and loose on the rim. So that's going to be very, very helpful in getting this tire off. So there it is. The job's done. Anyway, catch you later.